that rhymed. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Anyway, I'm here today to review A Quiet Place Part 2, the very anticipated, long-awaited follow-up to A Quiet Place 1, once again directed and written by John Krasinski and starring Emily Blunt. And it picks up from where the last Quiet Place film left off. The Abbott family, led by Emily Blunt and her three kids, are still getting from point A to B with this world of the aliens that hunt based solely on sound because they're blind. They came up with this one dude named Killian Murphy. Please forgive him if I'm mispronouncing his name. And they quickly find out that the aliens are not the only threat in this post-apocalyptic world. So I think we all can agree that A Quiet Place 1 is a contemporary horror classic. It's like John Krasinski, who played Jim on The Office. It's like, who knew that he could become such a versatile actor and a director? His character does appear briefly in this film in the beginning, but, hey, you had 3 years. Spoiler for the end of Quiet Place 1, he gets killed off at the end of the last film. So, of course, we pick up where his wife and his kids leave off, and they're still pursuing, their goal. And everything done well in the first film still carries over in the sequel. This movie, horror movie sequels tend to be really hit or miss. Like, I expect, like, horror films especially tend to have a really bad case of sequel-itis, where it's like, yeah, maybe the sequel does some things good, but some horror movie sequels do good. The first one does better. Cough, cough. Sinister 2, cough, cough. But this is not the case with A Quiet Place. Like, everything that was great in the first film still carries over this one as well. I love all the sign language representation, like all the deaf characters and mute characters we've been getting in Hollywood over the past few years that communicate with sign language. Like, I saw someone make a hot take and I completely agree with. We should start teaching kids sign language in schools instead of cursive. We got Quiet Place, Shape of Water, even Godzilla vs. Kong, Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy. There is more dialogue in this sequel than the last film, because they do meet more humans in this world, and in this sequel I should say, and I feel like the first Quiet Place film was like kind of an appetizer. It is more simplistic in its premise, and there is a lot more visual storytelling, and characters use sign language more than they actually speak in the first film. But in the second one, they meet more characters than us. That means more dialogue, which is a bad thing. And of course, the suspension of tension, like this, the Quiet Place films, they do jump scares right. I'm not like, jump scares are very cliche and overdone. They're annoying and they're loud and obnoxious. Like, okay, the music's dead and there's like, okay, I see it coming. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, but that case with A Quiet Place, because like, you have to be really silent, because if these creatures hear you, they're gonna pounce on you, rip you to shreds. Where it's like, when all the characters are hiding and they're cowering and fearing for their lives, like, you hear someone's cell phone go off and it's like, then you jump right in your seat. That sounds so well. And what I especially liked about this sequel is how it opens up with the world ending and the aliens invade. We got that in the trailer, so this isn't like a spoiler by any means. Like, guys, I promise you, like, do not be late for this movie. If there's any film you don't want to show up like 10 to 15 minutes late to, it's this one. Like, because the opening scene, when like everyone, it's like a normal day at first, there's families out, like kids are playing baseball, and it's just like typical everyday life is going on. Then the asteroids come down and the aliens start attacking. It is such a ride. Like, 5 to 10 minutes or however it was, that's all it needed. Like, we were promised that in the trailer, and I was excited to see that, like how the invasion started. It was everything I wanted to be, and it was more. Like, the opening scene is one of the best opening scenes I've seen in any horror film, like, in a very, very long time. And another thing about this film that just makes this world feel more grandiose is the way they treat, like, different characters. It's the end of the world and society has crumbled, and they find out that the aliens are not the only threats that they come across. There are, like, human threats as well, which I don't really want to touch base on that too much, because it kind of treads on spoiler territory, but that's like very realistic in a post-apocalyptic, like, if there ever is going to be a post-apocalyptic like wasteland that we're all going to have to live in someday, with like, be it mutants, aliens, zombies, or whatever else, those aren't going to be the only threats out there to kill you. You gotta watch out for other people, which is arguably way worse because there's no rules, no government, no politicians to keep, or police force to keep everyone in line, so people are going to do whatever they want. And what's scarier, like an alien that is really fast and strong, but like it's blind, so you gotta be quiet around, or something that can actually think. It's like, the aliens in this movie kill you only by pouncing on you, eating you up, and they also find a loaded gun and just do that. This one's not loaded, but also you can't really trust anybody in the end of the world, because like people can lie, trick, deceive you. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but it's like I'm really glad they emphasize that like aliens are not the only threats in this world. So it's not like all humans are good and all aliens are bad. There can be some gray area there as well. This movie's tension is interesting in a sense where it's like the first film was like the suspense was at a pretty steady level throughout, like beginning, middle, end, everything kind of stayed like fairly consistent, while in the sequel, like I said, the beginning, like the tension was like up to here with everything is going down, cars crashing, aliens eating dudes and whatnot. Then the movie kind of like valleys as you get back to like day 473 or whatever they were on. It's been a year since the aliens attacked, so like it valleys, then it kind of stays. Like it's still tense, there still is a lot of suspense here, but it picks up again at the end of the film, so it's like a sort of a valley effect. This isn't a weakness, it's not a problem of the movie at least. It's just the first film had more consistent tension and pacing. Also, the only real nitpick that I have with Quiet Place Part 2 is the way they treated certain characters. Like they do have like development, they kind of like hype some characters up to be more grandiose, but then just like go very underdeveloped. I would have liked to have seen more of those specific characters, especially oh gosh, how do I pronounce his name? Jimon Hunsu. Please forgive him mispronouncing his name. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy and a lot of other great films like Gladiator. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen more with him especially. But overall, I really don't have like major complaints with The Quiet Place Part 2, and the ending, without spoiling it, definitely feels like we just took another bite into the main course. It's like I could definitely see a third film coming, and I'd be so on board with that. Oh no, I'm not too sure which one I like more, Quiet Place 1 or the Part 2. But overall, guys, I was thoroughly impressed with Quiet Place Part 2. Like, if you can see it, like if theaters are open area, please, you're not gonna regret it. I have to give it a 9 out of 10 stars. It's an awesome film. I hear this movie's not available on streaming services, it's only available in theaters, so I'm curious. I got my Pfizer shot earlier today, and a lot of places here in Fort Collins are back to being at full capacity. We still have to wear masks like on buses and at the movie theater. Like the movie theater is like open at full capacity. While I hear that in other states it's like still at 25% capacity or 40% capacity. So let me know what other state you guys live in. Like how open are places? Is there still a mask mandate? Are people vaxxed yet, or what's going on? Just let me know in the comments down below. And subscribe to this channel, please. I definitely have made it like a goal this summer to like review a lot more movies, because I've been really slacking on that this year. And I kind of owe you guys an apology for that. It's not that I've lost interest in going to movies. It's just like a lot of weekends, like during the semester, I was just really busy. And I do have a summer class ready for me in June, so I'm not too sure if I'm going to keep being able to see movies at that point. But if I can, I certainly will. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay beastly. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice night.